Antonia, my question for you, first question. What's it like working for Business Sweden? Your daily routine like? What does it involve? You already
Uh,
read about your background and how you got to Business Sweden, but what does a day working for Business Sweden involve?
uh, there's no, always plan out your day as a management consultant. Like Chairman said, we act as a bridge, bringing in companies into the countries that we're focusing on. We're supporting in understanding where what the market says vis-a-vis the companies, their sectors, the regulatory environment, potential partners, the risk around it, sustainability, and what have you. And we do the other way around as well for companies that are looking to invest in Sweden. And like Chama, basically, since we are these companies, you invest so much in your so much of your time in their product or services or their sector that, and you know the local market, you become like the perfect person to continue for them. So a lot of management consultants actually either move on with the companies that they've worked with, if the company, because you're very much in direct contact with the management that are making the decisions, or they move on with the public sector. In our case, since we are like this hybrid, we are both governmental and private. So we create this. The longer you work with business within the such an organization that is not just the commercial section, the larger your network is. And that's what people are trying to tap into. I remember when I just joined, I actually joined to replace Chioma and another colleague that was leaving, being again headhunted by companies that they have worked with. And one of the other colleague, the company, one of the largest cosmetic companies now in Nigeria, we had supported them in several countries globally, and they took all our employees. So business Sweden was basically down during that time, and we had to employ a lot of people. And I was one of those people where I had just left the bank. I left GT Bank without knowing what I wanted to do. I was given the opportunity to go to Cote d'Ivoire and continue to start up the bank with the group head. And I had seen the way it was, and I think there was no passion. I didn't like my job. And I left just to air myself, and my parents were not happy. Unlike you, Adora, my parents, I don't come from a family that is quite well-to-do. So I needed to really struggle for myself to send myself to school or not. So the fact that I got a good job at a bank, having studied international relations, I left studying law at 4th year because I didn't like it, to go to Benin to study international relations and diplomacy. And my parents were like, are you for real? And I'm working and studying. And then I decided to leave the bank after I got a good job without a job. What are you going to do? And I'm like, I will find out. I would do something. So the work I've always been doing, estheticians, skincare therapy and all that, I was doing that on the side, and it was this network. I have this value in terms of excellence is not an act. It's what you do every day. Don't think of, oh, I just met you. I don't know where we're going. I don't need you. So I'm gonna be very whatever I do with you, I'm not gonna put all my all into it. I'm not gonna be perfect with you because I don't really think you are of help to me. You will be of help to me later. For me, I believe that everything we do, we need to do perfectly. Excellence shouldn't be something you do once in a while. It should be a way of life. So people I meet, friends, colleagues, I try to do the best to and the more you get to a certain level as well, you start, sometimes ego starts coming in, and you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't reply to this person. Why are they disturbing me? Then I come back to myself and say, Antonia, remember your humble beginnings. You never know where, you need to take time and respond to everyone and be nice and be the best you can, because you never know. And while I was doing this freelancing as the skincare esthetician, of course, the money wasn't coming, and I was meeting with friends, and I would always be really, the best help I could be. And then someone called me. It was a Dutch guy that was coming in every 2 weeks in 3 months to support MTN in some of their back office development and all. And I must have met him several times in some some event or so. And he was the one that recommended me to my future colleagues at Business Sweden. And then they called me and said, "Oh, we've met once or twice before in some events, and we liked your personality, and I couldn't remember for the life of me who I had met them. So I went for this interview, of course, because at this point I was freelancing. I'd left a job. I needed a job, and just like Adora, I had a good meeting with the country manager at that time, but we rarely even spoke about the job. It was they were just all about your personality, the fact that you were early, the network, your trajectory, what you want to do and all. And they said, "We would like to take you on, but you don't even have any consulting background. Your background has been very, back and forth, but are you willing to learn?" Of course, I'd left a job that was quite lucrative at the bank. The salary they were offering wasn't as such that, would meet up with what I'd left, but I was quite interested because it was in a sector or in an environment I wanted to go into. That's why I went to read international relations and diplomacy. And since then, even with my first project, I've been able to use a lot of the network I built while in the oil and gas sector, in esthetician, in the cosmetic industry, people I've met. And even my first project, the client told me, "Do you want to come with us? Do you want to start?" You get that because you do such a good job. You invest yourself in it that they see you as the perfect person to continue. But I do love my job, and every time I say no, it's not because I don't want to go with them. It's always very tempting because you get better. Of course, they increase your salary, or you see they give you more or less what you want. It's just today I love all the dynamism that comes with management consulting. It can be very stressful. Of course, it's also not so you don't get the big money, and working in such an organization as well, there is also the limit that comes with the nationality and what have you, being Nigerian. But I really love, meeting people, creating impacts and solving solutions, solving problems every day. Which that adrenaline, I kind of live for it every day. Yeah, and I've never regretted saying no to big companies. When it comes.
Perfect. So I'm glad to know that we all love our jobs. It's a good thing. Just a quick one before I let you go, Antonia. I've been reading in the news recently that Spotify is now in Nigeria. Did you have a hand? That's good.
Keep osh. In 2014, they were looking at Nigeria and South Africa, and for some reasons, they decided, after we supported them to look at both countries, they decided to go in for South Africa, which is understandable. It was a easier country to enter, and with all the administrative things, I had a list of 200 things they needed to do to protect themselves. In South Africa, it was just like 10, Now it's even the other way around now with the BBEE law in South Africa. I'm sure they would have they are regretting they didn't come to Nigeria first. So now they're trying to make that, and we've had several meetings with them, and they're taking the right step to come in. A bit too late, but yeah, never too late for Nigeria anyway.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Well done, well done. Thank you. I think we have one question from, actually, Adora, you have your hand up.
Yeah, actually, I was actually gonna go to Ojonye's question.
Okay, that's fine. You take it.
So, I think in order for this session to be useful to people, there's a lot that we can say about our backgrounds. But that question was very interesting to me because it kind of spoke to something that I would really like to emphasize. The question is, are there other platforms apart from LinkedIn that international headhunters look at? And the first thing I would say is that, trust me, 90% of the time, a headhunter is not going to find you from LinkedIn. By the time a company is looking to headhunt you, seriously headhunt you, they're not going to find you on LinkedIn. What you will find on LinkedIn are opportunities and opportunities, first of all, to learn about vacancies and opportunities to expand your network. But again, those opportunities really require work to build up and to strengthen. You can't just connect with somebody on LinkedIn. I see people, they have 1,000, over 500, over 5,000 connections, but of those connections, maybe only 40 people will reply to their emails. I have people who ping me every day, oh, can I connect with you? Can I connect with you? And that's another thing. You have to also be very strategic about, with all due respect to Antoinette, about being, accessible and, polite to people. You also have to be, strategic about the people that you're connecting with. It's not just connecting because you want to show that you have, lots of people on that you're connected with. You have to, when you're looking at how you're going to build your career, where you want to go to. If somebody writes to me and says, listen, I'm interested, I come from a tech background, this is my experience, I'm interested in XYZ about what Facebook is trying to do, in Africa, I am more likely to respond and begin an engagement with that person, as opposed to, oh, Ms. Adora, I saw you on a work seminar here. Can I connect with you, please? Fine, it's no skin off my nose. I'll connect with you. But if you're going to use platforms like LinkedIn, use them valuably. Use them. So another thing is, I will also look at your page before I accept your request to partner. So I'll see the kind of things that you post. I'll see the kind of things that you like, and I have to see that there is a connection as well. And when on the rare occasion that a headhunter is looking for you through LinkedIn, and they look at your profile, those are the things that they're looking at as well. But to respond to Ojenye's question, there are other platforms apart from LinkedIn. There are professional platforms on Facebook, on Instagram. There are professional associations that you can join. There are organizational, there are business groups that you can join as well. And you find that the in-person engagements really are a lot more valuable to you than joining a member of every single social media platform and worldwide. I did it. There was a time when I was in the States and I was like, okay, I want to come back to Nigeria. I want to come back to Africa, and I joined the International Association of Advisors, and what's that? DevEx, and I had profiles everywhere. But I would say that 99.9% of my opportunities have come from the personal connection, or from me reaching out and making a case for why I will be valuable to that organization.
That's a very good point. Always put your value front and center, and then you probably get the attention. There's a funny comment from Covenant Hero Chukuma. It says, wow, thanks for the insight, Adora. I already checked your profile and I was going to connect. But I'm listening to learn for now.
I don't want to say, okay, Choma, Antoinette, please help. You guys here, don't make me be the bad guy here. I'm just saying,
You're totally right, Dora.
be strategic.
No, you're totally right. Of course, being polite to all requests that comes in doesn't mean that you engage with the person later, or it's just often when people reach out to me, like also when we're headhunting profiles on any of these sites, like Adora said, Facebook or anything, mostly LinkedIn. We will look at who they are connected with, what they are posting, what are their activities, what is the background. These are things we'll look at, but it's a lot about personal references, their CVs, and my joining GT Bank was through the clients that I've worked with as estheticians. So I was, doing facials for about Wigwe and all these guys. And, I would tell them about my desire, what I want to do. This is just a passing strip. And that was how I joined GT Bank. And the next one as well with this company, like I said, and even with the oil and gas, it's through personal connections. You need to, and so you get opportunities on LinkedIn. You can get opportunities on Facebook, on Instagram. But if you are able to connect to people that you have built or people that know someone linked to that opportunity, it increases that opportunities yield from 20 or 30% to maybe like 60 or 70. And then when you meet them, you get to finalize that, so you need to be strategic, definitely, and decide on what are the areas you need to focus your strength on and build some sort of profile for yourself. I think, again, it's also changing. Before you could do like change a lot of times, decide, and you can still do that today. But I think more and more companies are looking at how you build, which area you're focused on, and what is your expertise. I've seen headhunters that reach out to me today, and they say, "Oh, we're looking for someone in the economic development, something for BCG or for one company or something," and you fit that. And then when I go to because of them, I go to my profile and I see that a lot of things I've been talking about. It's about partnership. It's about development in the economic sector. It's about, and I think that's what they're also interested in. So if you're in several associations that don't have any clear path or strategy to it, you're not really helping yourself. You're not saying anything about your profile or where your focus is. I remember I've told a company that, I recommended someone to them saying, "I'm not interested in changing yet. Go to this profile." And the lady today works a lot with as freelancing, but on her profile on LinkedIn, it's still very much focused on marketing. And then the recruiter came to me saying, "Oh, but are you sure you're talking about the same person?" She's very much focused on marketing. So it's important that whatever you do online, it needs to be strategic and say something about your profile and not just be everywhere hoping to just score. It doesn't really work that way.
Interesting. Perfect. Thank you for that. Chioma, do you have anything to add? Do you want to add anything?
Sure, yes, I can. On the question around international headhunters that Ojonye brought up, I think that LinkedIn, I believe strongly that LinkedIn is a powerful tool. And I believe that depending on how, Adora has used the word strategic a lot today. I think it's very important. You have to be strategic about the message you are putting out into the world. So if a headhunter they do, especially in the pandemic year, a lot of them are using LinkedIn as a source. They're paying thousands of dollars to look for the right profile of candidates that will work for them, right? So what message is on your LinkedIn profile today? What picture do you have? Is it professional enough? What is your background saying about your passion, your your journey, your career, and so on, how can they connect to you when they're probably not going to be able to meet you face to face? So I think that LinkedIn is I did a master class last year, I think it was, a career master class. It was a paid one that taught how to improve my profile, right? It's something I'm still doing. And just in 6 months, I'd been headhunted by 3 different companies for the Middle East and African market. And previously, I didn't really care about updating my profile, but I did it because I'm in business school at IESA Barcelona, Spain. I'm also just trying to improve my personality in my job and my qualification and my skills. So one of the things I did was improve my LinkedIn profile, not for the sake of looking for a new job, but it was interesting to me how I got contacted by 3 different headhunters based on my profile being improved. Now, the second is, I believe that if you Google, you would most likely find a lot of companies that are, owned by individual headhunters or a group, and they show you what markets they focus on, what companies are their clients. You can start from there to also identify and reach out to these companies by going to their LinkedIn profile, like Adora and Antonia have said. If you say, I've been to your website, I see the kind of companies that you represent, I have a experience in this sector, I'm trying to do XYZ, can I connect to you to see how you could be of help to me, for example, things like that. So I think that's what I'm going to add to what both ladies have said.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think we have gone past the mark. It's been very, very, very interesting conversation. So I think we got carried away. So it's perfect. Thank you to everyone. I think I have one final question to just throw before we go today. I know you mentioned, Chioma, that you are in business school as well. One of the question I have is there any specific sort of development that you need to do for yourself to help improve your prospects? So I know you mentioned your LinkedIn profile, but do you have to go to business school? Is there any hard and fast rule to how you develop yourself while you're in your career?
So there are a couple of things. I think I mentioned earlier that I joined a company that was selling equipment, manufacturing equipment for the telecom space. With 0 experience going into this company, there's a tendency to feel like, what do I have to offer? So what I did was I went down to the basics. What do I need to do good at the job I have right now? Is it understanding how to negotiate? Is it understanding how to interpret the implications of a legal contract? Is it being better at Excel, PowerPoints? Over the past 9 years, I've improved quite a number of things. It could even be speaking, like just being able to communicate and articulate your thoughts without confusing people in what you're saying. So little things. And we live in a world today where a lot of resources are online, on YouTube, on the web. So I've done a lot of these the past couple of years. The decision to go into business school is also part of this benchmarking, where I am today, where I want to be. What do I need to do to be better? And the way I went about it, Adora mentioned something where she was looking to study and focus on Africa. I went after business schools that were, also acknowledging emerging markets. So I didn't go after the United States. I contacted a few business schools in Europe, and I said, look, this is the experience I have. I'm looking to study in a school that will allow me understand how to do business better in emerging markets, because I do business in Latin America, my company is in Asia Pacific, Africa. And with that communication, I didn't just apply to go to business school on their website and then write GRE and all the things they do. I had a conversation, and by messaging, a lot of these guys respond. So they came back to me and we had a couple of weeks discussions. Something else I mentioned was, I don't have 100 or something, whatever the amount is in euros, to pay your fees. Can you support me with giving me options for payment plans, right? So I was quite clear from the beginning in terms of what I want and how they can help me. And I think that I've also done that in building my skills around my job, just to be better understanding the African market dynamics of the industry, understanding who I need to meet and communicate with, being strategic about who I connect to on LinkedIn for sales purposes, things like that. That's just a summary of it. I've been quite intentional in terms of, you always have to ask yourself first what you want out of any situation before taking the steps there. I hope I answered your question.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did. Thank you very much. Is there anything else to add, Antonia, Daura, anything else?
I think the point Chairman made about continuous improvement is very important. Uh, Even myself deciding to do my business master's, executive master's in ASEC was because you find yourself very good good enough in an international environment, but you also see that the competition is very fierce, and the places you want to go to, sometimes your education, I think in Nigeria, maybe your educational background might not be that important, but the more you launch yourself into the international arena, your educational background start also it starts getting to matter if you want to get a higher position. So you need to think, how can I improve myself? What do I need to do? And if it is to go back to school, very well, you have to do that. And I remember being in ESSEC Business School as well. I had people that had been with that have PhD, and they just could not become like CM, Chief Marketing Officer of Danone or some regional managers, just because they had focused on something else. So they needed to go back to school and achieve what they wanted to get that additional education. So I think it's something that you need to always look and evaluate vis-a-vis where you want to go. So.
Okay, thank you for that. Adara, any final words?
I think the only other thing I would point out is that culture plays a lot in companies' growth and their and your growth within companies, even more so these days. I think we come from a country where there has been a very clear hierarchical structure in the way companies are run and the way people operate in the office. And one of the things that we also need to learn how to develop and how to get better on is how to really build a culture of true collaboration and how to show up authentically at work. I mean, these are things that traditionally we didn't have conversations about, but you find that with a lot of international companies, a lot of international agencies, your professional skills are just, or rather your interpersonal skills are just as important as your professional skills. So you will find that when you get in there, yes, you have the degree, you have the experience, but your performance is being rated on things like, how do you build community? How are you supportive? How are you it's your subordinates that will rate you as a manager. And those things go into your development in the company. Those things will actually be very subtly, they will appear even at the beginning in your engagement, in your interviews, in your outreach, initial outreach. Those are the things, when people say we're looking for the right fit, it's not just your degree. It's not just your experience. It's who you are really authentically. What do you believe about the world and how you work and what the company that you're working for should be doing and how it should be doing it? So those are the things that I would also encourage people to maybe put out for themselves a little bit more as well.
Okay, perfect. I think that resonates with what Antonia and Chioma have said as well before. The jobs that they got during the interview, there was not much said about their loads and loads of professional qualifications. It was mostly about showing your personality and shining through and adding value to the organization. Perfect. Thank you very, very much to our three wonderful resource persons for today. I will pass the floor back to Hope to just give a quick conclusion and then give us the next steps. Thank you very much, guys, for joining today. Hope, over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful. We are grateful at HEDDA's Beautiful Hands. Thank you, Madam Adaura. Thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Chioma. And thank you, Antonia. We are grateful. Thank you for coming, everyone.